Hello, guys. Wow. We got some situation developing right now, developing minute by minute in Great Britain, the United Kingdom, England. Wow, what a situation. We got 50% of the people on one camp. We got another 50% of the people, which is half of the people on either camp. One camp wants to leave the European Union, and they're the ones who voted to leave, and the other camp wants to stay in the EU where they feel safe and secure, like they're underneath a warm blanket. You know, they don't want to leave their blankie. And so these people are divided in this issue right now. All of a sudden, bam, there's no strong leadership in the Prime Minister anymore. Wow. You know? Now, what about Parliament? Leadership started to try to transfer over to Parliament. But they're all confused and don't know what they wanted to do. They had to vote on 8 different issues here, and they voted them all down. And they don't really know what to do either, so they're kind of mulling around in their chambers, you know, trying to talk to each other, trying to decide, and they don't really have a clear path. And the Prime Minister, she doesn't really know what to do now either. And there's no clear leadership in the country, and then you have the country where you have 50% of the people on... Really, you got one guy living in one house, and he wants to leave, and right next door to him, you got a guy who wants to stay. And neither side, neither one of these people, they're very, very polarized right now, very divided on this issue. Now, I'm going to tell you, what if they hold a general election right now to try to find a clear path out? Okay? Because I'm going to tell you what, I'm not going to say that this situation, this is the kind of situation that can cause something called civil unrest. Let's put it this way. These are the conditions that you need to create that kind of a situation where there's no clear leadership and the people are polarized and divided on an issue. This is a very explosive type of a situation. So what you need is clear leadership in the country. Now what the Prime Minister needs to do, she needs to step up and give clear leadership. It's not happening, but that's what she needs to do. I mean, because I'm not going to say that problems could arise from this, but I can say that I see the potential for problems arising from this. And very rapidly escalating, right? Without clear leadership. So she needs to get in there, and the Prime Minister, she needs to give some clear leadership. So what if they hold a general election? What if? Is that a way out at this point in time? Well, I'm going to tell you what. That would just create more confusion because they have this wall that they're heading toward. The wall comes on the 12th of April, which is only days away, where they're going to leave the European Union in a hard Brexit. And that alone could cause huge problems. I'm going to tell you, I'm not laughing at the people in Britain now who stored away beans and stored away food for themselves. I'm not laughing right now about them. I think that they were very intelligent in storing away food and storing away things for themselves in case of this. Because it's not so much the hard Brexit that's causing this, the problems right now. What's causing the problems is a division. You see, back when they voted to leave the European Union, there was like 52% that wanted to leave and like 48% that wanted to stay, which is close to 50%. But since that time till now, some of these ones who wanted to leave said, hey, you know what? We never knew it was going to cause this much trouble. Maybe we shouldn't have voted to leave if it was going to cause this much trouble. And probably some of them have come over to deciding, well, maybe we should stay because it would be easier, the easy way out. And so they probably lost about 2% of what they had back when they voted. So that would put it right on 50-50. Instead of 48-52, it would be 50-50. Now, 50-50 is a problem. A huge problem when you get half of the population who wants one thing and exactly half of the other side of the population who wants something entirely different, and they're polarized and they're not going to change their mind. You got a huge problem. And when you got a huge problem like that, what you need is clear leadership. All of a sudden, we don't have any clear leadership. Now, I'm going to tell you, what would I do if I was the Prime Minister? Now, I'll just tell you my own opinion. This is an opinion piece of what I would do if I was the Prime Minister. What I would do is, first I would look at an option. The option would be to let the people vote on this in a snap referendum. But, hold on a minute with that option. I'd say to myself, hey, hold on a minute. Wait. They've already voted. We've already had the vote. Uh-oh, that's a huge problem, I'd say to myself. Gee, what are we going to do about that? The obvious solution would be to have the people vote on this, but we've already done it. We've already voted on this. So maybe we can't go in that direction. Now, what would be, I'd say to myself, what would be the next option to do? Well, the aching tooth is the hard Brexit. That's the aching tooth, right? And when you get a really bad aching tooth, what do? Do you wait around for 2 more weeks while the tooth is throbbing and aching and causing you misery? Or do you run into the dentist? And what does the dentist usually do if you run into the dentist with a really bad aching tooth? What does he usually do? He yanks the darn thing. So I'd say to myself, well, gee, it's bad. It's bad, but what's causing the problem is the Brexit. Get it over and done with. So I'm going to tell you probably what I would do is, I'd tell all the people, come on in here, I want to talk to all of you on TV. Get it on the BBC or whatever. I'd stand up in front of them as the Prime Minister, and I'd say, listen, I'd hold my hand out in front of them, listen, here's what we're going to do. I would declare some sort of a situational problem. I'd say this is a situational problem, and so we're going to go on emergency standby, the entire country, and I'd say, want everybody at home at night. I'm going to have the police, I'd say, they're going to check to make sure that you got good business to be out. And a good reason for being out, if you're out at night. And so I'd go on high alert. Put the country on high alert is what I'd do. And I'd tell them, you're all going to be on high alert. And I'd say, and then the second thing I'm going to put in place is a law where there is no hoarding allowed. All the stores have to follow this new law. No hoarding, and no hoarding law. So if they see you taking more than 6 cans of whatever, beans or whatever, you're not allowed more than 6 of any one thing from the stores. No hoarding law. And then I'd say, the next thing is, tomorrow morning, we're going to pull the tooth that's causing us problems. And I would make decisive decisions, get in there. Now, these are just the things I would do. I'd make decisive decisions and clarify matters. But what are they doing? That's an entirely different matter. And so what they need to do is they need to start making these same sort of decisive decisions. Maybe not my decisions, not the same decisions I would make, but make their own decisive decisions on what they're going to do. Rather than just sit there while the clock ticks and the people don't know what in the heck's going on. Make some decisive decisions. Clarify things. So the people feel like, hey, you know what? We've got a path here. We know our leader is leading us through. this situation. Right now, the way it is right now, we don't have any clear leadership. We need somebody that's going to stand up and say, this is what we're going to do. So, that's what they need to do. These leaders need to stand up there and say, this is what we're going to do. Instead of just sitting there and saying, well, we don't know. Maybe we can do this, or maybe we can do that, or maybe we can do something else, and maybe we can get along, or maybe we can't get along, and the people are all the same way right now. They're divided 50-50. Need a clear path. This is what we need. It doesn't have to be something monumentous, but it needs to be a clear path, a clear way out of this situation. Now, what I was telling you before, but what I would do is only an example. But the powers that be in England, right now in the United Kingdom, need to sit down and they need to discuss it, and they need to find a clear path, a clear way out of this situation, so that the people do not get saying, hey, they don't know what they're doing either. Because that's what's going to happen. The people are going to say, hey, these guys that we elected in there, they don't know what the heck they're doing either. That's lack of leadership. Anyway, listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye, guys.